Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Leland from Level Up Academy Podcast. Today we have a special guest. And before that, we're always going to go with our intro.
Welcome to Level Up Academy Podcast, where we explore a diverse set of skills that can be applied across various industries and professions. Each episode will deep dive into the world of transferable skills, discussing topics like communication, problem solving, critical thinking, and more. Join us as we speak with experts in different fields and share stories of individuals who have successfully transferred their skills from one industry to another. Whether you're a recent grad, a mid-career professional, or someone looking to make a career change, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's discover how you can leverage your existing skills to excel in any industry. Welcome to Level Up Academy Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Leland, a serial educator, an opportunities designer, and a compassionate leader.
All right. Thank you so much. So let's go ahead and play this one.
Are you a curious student, eager to learn new skills and make your mark in the world? Or are you a professional seeking to advance your career and unlock your full potential? You need to be equipped with effective soft skills like communication, problem solving, teamwork, and more. The Level Up Academy by Doc Leland bridges the gap between education and employment through transferable skills training. Get the soft skills you need to be more effective at work.
Lights are shining bright. My friends are in the club. We'll go all night. I see you in the back. The mood is right. If I just had your number, I would let you know how I feel. You walk up to me, start dancing to the music, energies like this was meant to be. Take my hand, I feel my heart beat, and I don't want this moment to stop. Time to go home, don't want this night to end. Yeah, about time we stop pretending. Come home with me, let's write a history. Tonight I'll make you see. It's all about us, it's all about us. As we're dancing close together, making out. It's all about us, it's all about us. There's some magic in your eyes, can't get enough. Feel your hands, the way you're touching me around my neck. Got chills down my back, you do it right. The way you're holding me, no, I don't want this moment to stop. No need to fight it, I cannot hide it. We won't regret it, so come with me. Maybe we're meant to be a perfect melody, and I don't want this moment to stop. Time to go home, don't want this night to end. Yeah, about time we stop pretending. Come home with me, let's write a history. Tonight I'll make you see. It's all about us, it's all about us, it's all about us. We're dancing close together, making out, making out. It's all about us, it's all about us. There's some magic in your eyes, can't get enough, I can't get enough.
Sorry, I was still dancing. It was so good. First of all, okay, let me recognize this for a moment and take a deep breath. Mike, brother, you made it first and see ya? What the? Whoa? I'm just saying, whoa. Like, Mike usually goes in the middle towards the end. I'm like, what is happening here, sister? Sia, Mike came in fierce. Yes, fierce first. Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. So clap in there. So who do we have? Oh, the hound showed up. Thank you guys. Antwi, I think you are definitely the first time in here. So welcome, Mike. Oh my gosh, you made it. This is what Mike just said. Yay, I made it. And it's like and on time too. No, the first one. So this is kind of cool. Hey, Cecilia, wanting to tell you that I updated to Ventura for Apple. It's quite fast, but now my road is not looking good because I don't have my headset. I'm not even using my road because it's not connecting. So if you have any tips to let me know how to reconnect my road again, other than going to YouTube, let me know. Hook the sister up. It is happening. Who do we have here? Jody, welcome, right? I can't believe you guys are here. Amazing. Sister Janice, I'm still waiting for my pink Tossie. And I definitely will be your first sales lady more than QVC for sure. I need that pink one. Welcome to today's episode of Level Up Academy. First of all, Sandra Gonzalez audio is coming out this Friday, so she'll be all over all the distribution channels. And I also wanted to make sure that you guys know that she's an amazing human being. She is a drill sergeant for the Marines, and she's now a transformational coach, and she's an amazing person. And I cannot wait to have her back again the second time and a second part of her journey with me. And I kind of pushed her into something new in her life. Before I bring in our guests, for the next 15 minutes, I always say something. I hope you guys saw the motivational quote for the day, and I added some dancing flair because I needed some music this morning, okay? But I don't know if you guys are seeing what I am showing here. I'm hoping you are. Make it a little bit bigger. So audio, so the live stream here, if you're invited in Level Up Academy, I have my schedule all the way to August now. And I can't wait to have Jody Lamb come in. The live stream goes to YouTube right away. It's about, I think I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. There's about almost 1,200 subscribers there right now. I'm hoping it's going to grow faster as well. But the audio itself is actually going to be the one that goes into the 16 distribution channels. And I think my audio is probably close to November extraction now. So we are ahead of the game. And thank you so much for being here. And Level Up Academy is somewhere where we can add value to the conversations and things that we are doing together. Let's see. So that is where all of my audio goes in. Now, this is the heat map. I can't put all of it, but this is the heat map of where Level Up Academy has been listened to. So we still have to do South America there and more in Africa, right? And definitely China's, they're kind of not listening there, right? It's all over there in Europe, but we still need, my claim to fame is 6 continents. But I need that 7 continents. It's still a challenge, guys. We need those Antarctica people to listen to the podcast so we can have all 7 continents listening to us. This is my website. 50 Inspirational is actually there for information. I think you guys have 8 days left now for 50 Inspirational Project. If you want to know more, just go to my website, luabyduckleland.com, and it will say 50 Inspirational on there. Richard, when we are done today, your live stream will go automatically under live on the YouTube channel that I have in there. And I've been on LA Weekly. So what that means is that once your name is mentioned either on my website or on my podcast description, your SEO goes up. SEO just means popularity in Google if you own a business. I was one of the top 10 podcasts to listen to for 2023. This is also shout out DFW. By the way, I just got my magazine sheet over the weekend or a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Also on Baby Boomer as an expert. What does that mean again for you is that you are if your name is mentioned, your SEO goes in. The backlinks is what you need to get that going. Also on FeedSpot, right? And all of these distribution channels is coming up, and I keep adding for more so that you can do it. This is my first book for HR people. the values, leadership, and culture of executive women in the Philippines and the United States. And that cost me a lot of money, by the way, because I actually went to Korea, Japan, Philippines to interview executive women in person. Okay. That was, I don't know why I thought it was kind of fun to do it when I had two small kids, but I did. But this is an older now book, but all of the studies that I did in there actually is on the ground. It's not theory. The second book I have is in 6 different languages. It's called Multidisciplinary Perspectives in Thought Leadership from the summit that I've created last year. So if you speak French, Portuguese, I believe Italian is also on there, but 6 different languages is converted to. You can buy the book. The book is really like only 60 pages, but it is quite expensive. It's like $46 because there's about 8 PhDs in there, including myself with the DBAs. And it is about actionable items that we did to provide our community. And actually, it's not just theory, we put it into practice. So I have my third book coming up. Ta-da! With my sister Nicole. It's going to be in July 7th. And this is actually bittersweet because my birthday is 7/11. So this is kind of like a birthday gift to me. Nicole is the one who created the cover of the book. She creates memes, she creates graphics. She's an amazing sister and an amazing artist. And I hope she's listening because today Richard is a ghostwriter. So you can definitely get something from that conversation. This is again coming soon. Natalie is in there, Susanna, and my sister Christine. And also, we have a group we called Creative Group, and we just create different things and different arts. Whether it's makeup for me, Christine, she loves her flowers and her gardening. Susanna with her words, Nicole with her graphics, Natalie with her art. Hello, yesterday, right? So we are different artists in different ways of our lives. And thank you for watching that. But are you guys ready for our people? What's up, brother? Okay, are you guys ready? Are you sure you're ready? You're positive. Are you ready? Hi, Richard.
Hello.
How are you?
Well, thank you for that introduction.
Yeah, amazing. First of all, what an amazing person you are, and what a story that I cannot wait for people to know. And a little bit of a techie conversation, not so deep, but I wanted to talk about your story, right? Let's just get start to it. And my first question to all of my people that I talk here is that think back 20 years. You can go back as far as you want, but 20 years is usually the happy spot for people.
Okay.
Find within your timeline some of the significant changes in your life that got you here where you are today.
Well, I'm going to start with my very first ghostwriting project, which was when I was 17 years old. That was a long time ago, a lot more than 20 years. And my whole family, we got together every holiday for holidays. And I was always afraid of my grandfather because people thought he was weird and strange and kind of grumpy and stuff. Well, I wanted to find out more about my grandfather. Nobody really liked me spending some time with him, but I just said, no, I'm going to spend some time with him. So I talked to him and interviewed him and found out he's a fascinating guy. He was captured on Corregidor in World War II. He was in the Yangtze River Patrol before World War II and then captured by the Japanese. Took part in the Bataan Death March. And if you look that up on the internet, you'll find out that it's quite a trial and tribulation. I think 70 or 80,000 people started, and probably less than a third of that made it. It was about a 50-mile march. And then he was put in a Japanese prisoner of war camp for 4 years. So if I'd been through all of that, I'd be a little cranky and weird and stuff too, PTSD type of stuff. So I wrote his book, and never was published because lots of war books were published, and I was only 17 and it probably wasn't very good. But it kind of taught me that not to listen to what other people say, first of all, that make my own conclusions, which is very important. So use my own eyes, make my own conclusions. And it taught me that I can write and that I can interview and stuff like that, in spite of being kind of afraid of him because of what everybody said. Well, of course, I wanted to move out from my home, from my parents, just because things got tough. So I got a job at went to college and then got a job at a computer software company. And within a year, I was the VP of that company, a VP of consulting. It was a small startup, and I wrote in there. I managed the first ever fraud detection system for phones, so phone cards, little phone cards. I don't think they have them anymore, but used to have phone cards. I wrote that. I wrote the first time anybody ever wrote a disk defragmenter. The thing that runs on your hard drive and gets rid of little pieces. We did the first one ever, and all kinds of other fascinating projects like that. They were kind of geeky projects, but they were fun. I was there for 6 years, then left and went to another company and became a VP, and was there for about 5 years and did a bunch of fascinating things there. And then finally wound up at Trader Joe's, and that's where I spent 20 years. I was the director of computer operations and technical services for 20 years, which means I was in charge of everything having to do with the computers that was in the corporate area. I wasn't in charge of the stores. And that was a fascinating job. I was in charge of disaster recovery, cybersecurity, all the applications, SAP, HR, merchandising, supply chain, all of that stuff was me and my team. So we had a great time there. We did a lot of things, and got to the end of that. That was 10 years ago, or 9.5 years ago, and just decided this wasn't for me anymore. I was working for them. I was making quite a bit of money, but it just wasn't the right environment. It was working for corporate. I didn't want to work for corporate anymore. The environment was not what I wanted. So I decided to make the leap, and I left. And I made a real leap. Now, let me back up before a little bit there. Something like 16, 17 years ago, my wife passed away. And and we were pretty much in love, and it was, she was my soulmate, and stuff like that. And I decided I don't like grief, and I decided I also wanted to cure the introversion. I was horribly introverted. I mean, 17, 18 years ago, you would never have got me on this show because there's people. Oh my God. There's one person I can see. Oh my God, there's thousands of people listening. Oh my God. But now it's like, fine. Well, how did I do that? I picked up the camera, and I had this great idea. I forget, somebody mentioned it to me that I might try it, and it worked out really well. Use the camera to talk to people. So I'd go up to somebody and I'd talk to the camera who would talk to people, and I did that for thousands and thousands of photo shoots. I photographed dancers, wrestlers, reenactors, Renaissance Fair people, race car drivers, hot air balloons, and everything you can think of. Went down in caves and did exploring of caves, national parks. By the time I was done, I didn't have any problem talking to people. In fact, I scare people sometimes because I'll go right up to a gang member or something. I lived in downtown Dandelion Central. I'll just go right up to them, say, "Hey, I like your tattoos." It's always a good opening line when you try to talk to somebody if they have tattoos. "I like your tattoos. What's the story?" We're best buddies within 10 minutes, because they always want to talk. Everybody always wants to talk about their tattoos if they have them, or not everybody, but generally. So that's how I overcame that. That was building up towards me leaving Trader Joe's. I was getting more open and more looking at people and more looking at what I was in. I was very introverted at Trader Joe's, and then I said, okay, it's time to go. Now, part of the backstory there is while I was doing that photography, I met a whole bunch of belly dancers at the Renaissance Fair, and they fell in love with me as a group. All of them did, because I was a nice guy. I sat in this front row center every time, took lots of pictures, put them on the internet for free, let them pick them up. So I became the photographer for the whole community down in Southern California. I mean, thousands of them were friends, and I still got 2,000 or 3,000 friends on Facebook. And every year they'd throw me a birthday party, and I would have anywhere from 50 to 200 belly dancers and salsa dancers and break dancers and you name it come to this party for me. I rented a room, usually a community center room, like a big one, and they'd all come, and we'd put on a big shindig that lasted all night, with me and some bored husbands being the only guys there. Just for me.
Oh my God, 50 belly dancing and hip hop. I was like, man, I'm in the party. Bring it. Like, let's go. Yeah.
You would have had a blast. It was a fun party. They did all their different kinds of acts, everything that you can imagine. And The last one I had, which was just before I moved to Florida, I had 200 dancers. I had to actually rent over 2 nights because they wanted to wish me goodbye. So I rented a bar that had a big dance space, and I rented a community center. And I had some big names there, and it was fun. It was fun. During that time, I was also the photographer for the first world the first world mermaid beauty pageant.
Wait, back up. Okay,
The
mermaid is on the floor. How are they? I'm trying to picture this in my head. Mermaid beauty pageant. Sia and Raquel, help me. How does this go? How did that go?
there were 50 to 100 mermaids in Las Vegas at the Silverton Hotel, all doing a show for over the full day, and it was a beauty pageant. And they who was the most beautiful mermaid, and who could do this and who could do that, and that's where I met my first supermodel. And one of my bucket list items was to have lunch with a supermodel, so I did. And it was just lunch, she just said hi and she thanked me for the pictures and stuff, but it was fun. She's pretty famous. She's Australian, Hannah Fraser. So obviously I was getting over the introversion part. And then I had my going away party, which was the 200 dancers. And I decided to move away from California and move to Florida, set up roots here in Florida, and became a writer. First of all, first I wanted to be a writer, just a writer. I found that selling books is hard. I wrote 60 books really fast.
Whoa.
Yeah,
wait, 60?
60 books in a period of 2 years, and put them all up on Amazon. They're still there. They're a mixture of everything: computer security, real survival, some fiction books, how to manage people, how to meet women and be friends with them. Because I was photographing all these women as part of my thing. So I learned all about what women don't like about men. So I wrote a book, what men are doing wrong. And it's pretty.
I was just kidding.
Yeah, it was a short book, and then I said, okay, fine. So I started going to writing critique groups to make my writing better, and I ran into a ghostwriter, and he had his own company, and he hired me to write a book. And the book was about an Afghani politician before the Soviets invaded. So this was back in the 70s. And there was a coup against the government, and he was part of the government, and the government fell, and he was in a room, and he got a phone call that said, leave. That's all it said. Now, he said, well, I got to go pack. He said, no, you don't have time. Leave. And he took the advice. And he was under house arrest at the time, and he left and got his family out. It's an amazing story of his trip down to Pakistan. And he, when the Americans finally came in 20 years later, the place where they would have brought him, we found 15,000 skeletons under that prison of people who were executed at that time. He would have been executed. So
It wasn't his time.
Right. Well, that book was interesting because my boss had started it, and then he handed it off to a ghostwriter who was one of the glorious ladies of wrestling, Glow. She dropped it, and I picked it up. So I had these notes from these two people, some interviews, and I had to interview the guy like in a day because he was going off to Afghanistan. And it finally became too much for me. I mean, for $1,000, it was just like, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I went off and started my own ghostwriting company. And within a day after I started my company, I got a $10,000 ghostwriting contract. Wow. The next day, I got a $15,000 ghostwriting contract. And I thought, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. Wait, I want to go back to actually say when you told me, you said I'm an introvert. I'm like, excuse me? Because I have this, we all have this idea of an introvert different. And Timothy, I think he's here, my brother from down under. He's also saying, I'm an introvert. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm like, it's just me, you, and talking. Don't worry about the words and the people that are in here that I'm putting in there for the words. But I love that you took it upon yourself and basically shatter that thing. Like, okay, I'm not comfortable with people. What can I do for myself to do this? And you got a camera and you have a bucket list. And when you told me about your list, like all the things that you want to do, and I was like, yes, yes. And you're like, I just had a lunch with a supermodel nonchalantly. I was like, you go, okay. And I love that. I love that
Yeah.
about, ghostwriting. And also where you're at. So my next question is, how does having a background in cybersecurity enhances your approach to ghostwriting, especially in terms of like protecting clients' confidentiality and sensitive information?
Well, just to give a little background on that, I was in charge of cybersecurity at Trader Joe's, and I did what's called PCI compliance because we accept credit cards. You have to be very secure, so that's audited every year. And me and a peer were in charge of that, and that made me very cognizant of the need for security. Now, in a ghostwriting project, it always comes with a non-confidentiality or a confidentiality agreement, a non-disclosure, and I've taken those very seriously. I can't. The only reason I can talk about that one is because I was released and allowed to talk about it. But normally, I won't talk at all about projects other than in very vague terms. Like I'm working on a science fiction book, but I'm not going to tell you who or what or anything about it. And that the security is very important. So my computers are all secure. I have top level security on my computer systems at home, my phone, and everything like that. I have, um, I understand security, and I get books. I've written like 4 books on cybersecurity for other people and one for myself that I've published myself. So I track cybersecurity projects, and I've done policies and procedures for companies on cybersecurity. That's part of what I also do. So security is very important, and privacy is just as important. What most people don't, I wrote a book on this actually, what most people don't realize is when you go out on the internet on Facebook and things, Facebook keeps all the data about you, everything, including some of the social media, including like your pattern of typing on the keyboard, so that it can recognize your pattern of typing on the keyboard from another location, so it knows it's you. Stuff like that. It's kind of scary when you get into it, all that stuff that's kept, and you really can't erase it. I mean, if you're on the internet, you're going to be tracked. But I've become aware of that, and I talk to my clients about it. Sometimes not. And one thing I always recommend to them when we have that conversation is do a social media audit. You don't want to be like the guy who went to the Oscars, who was going to host it, and he had some Twitter tweets from 11 years ago that were who knows what, and he had hit it back out of the Oscars. Audit your social media. In fact, go into Twitter and delete everything older than 6 months. Probably just delete
Go
it all.
now, guys. Go to your Twitter account right now. Just start deleting the things.
Delete anything. Delete all those college things and all the stupid stuff you said. Just get rid of them, because people care, and that's the problem, is people care what you said 15, 20 years ago sometimes, and it can be used against you, and you don't need to have it out there.
What have I done that I'm like, ooh, we gotta hide those things? No, maybe. I mean, back then, cameras and cell phones wasn't as sophisticated as today. I probably would have been in trouble if the iPhone was, because I came from a very strict family, and Catholic was my whole entire elementary. I had nuns for teachers, where if you say the wrong thing, if you have the wrong earrings, if my nails was like this, they would literally chop off my finger. Probably that's how strict they were. And I went a little wild, I should just say, hanging out with all the Hollywood people back in my days. I'm older now. I'm good. And it's actually really fun to, when you said that, you delete. What's really fascinating with Facebook is when you actually go in the advertisement, right? And you hit like coach or, shopping or whatever. The next time you go in there, everything is about shopping. Why? They have algorithms in there that's watching you.
It's worse than that. If you're shopping on a different shopping site other than Facebook, say you're on Instagram and you're shopping, it'll come up on Facebook or it'll come up on Amazon, because they share the same database.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why it's sometimes scary. You're doing this thing over here and it comes up over here, or another family member is doing something over there, and you're starting to get this stuff that you have no idea where it's coming from. It's the other family member who was logged into your account and maybe shopping for something. And it can get kind of bizarre.
My Amazon cart is full from my kids. I'm like, I'm sorry, do you think money grows on trees? What are these?
Obviously, it comes from Santa Claus, probably.
Yeah, my daughter actually, it's so funny because we go all out with our kids when it comes to like keeping them, as child as possible. And I think just 2 years ago, my 15-year-old found out that there was no real Santa Claus because I got caught wrapping gifts. But
Whoops.
I know, but I mean, come on, she's 13 and her friends are like, Santa's not real. And she's like, no, they are. I can hear like Rudolph on Rudolph on the roof because we do. We take all of our family members on December 24th and we put them in bed and I would put a pillow, hide it. I'm like, shh, dad is still sleeping. But my husband literally dressed up as Santa. We bought like this huge Santa Claus outfit and he would come down to the little door and we would like, shh, quiet, we gotta hide. And yeah, but the gifts was mommy's fault. So then now the cat is out of the bag and she cried. She's like, you mean Santa was not real all this time? And I'm like, yeah. And then so we stopped the bunny. We used to have eggs with money everywhere for our kids. And we have bunnies in our golf course, right? And we're like, oh my God, the bunny is coming. And literally everything stopped at 13. And I'm kind of sad about it. But it was my dumb fault, for doing that.
Live and
Yeah.
learn. At least your kid didn't say, you lied to me,
Oh, no, she did.
Oh, okay.
Now she questions everything that I did.
Well, that's probably a good thing because there's a lot of lies out there.
Oh, yeah. My next question here, what are some common challenges faced by ghostwriters when it comes to, I wouldn't want to say security, but like just finding people, right? So I have friends that are doing ghostwriting and graphics design and all that. And I have people who does ghostwriting for a full-time job. What would be your advice to them in like looking for lead generations or clients and things like that?
Networking. The best way to find jobs in ghostwriting is to network. Use LinkedIn, use Instagram, use whatever you're comfortable with. Facebook. Facebook I haven't found to be super great. And network. Just every day make a point of networking with 20 different people or set a goal, whatever you're comfortable with, 5 people, 10 people, because it's the little things that build up over time. So just build that network up, and you want to make sure you're not selling to that network. You're informing that network. You're helping that network. If you're selling to that network, you're going to be a salesman, and people don't like salesmen. So you want to be the person who knows about, so I know about cybersecurity. I know about all these different things. So I write articles on that and I talk to people about those things. In fact, I had 2 LinkedIn lives this week that I put on, one this afternoon, that it's just talking to people about things. And I'm not trying to sell them. I'm trying to just build up my brand. And that's the other thing, is build up your brand. And I would say the third thing is don't sell yourself short. Give yourself a nice rate. What do you think you're worth? Now, you got to add in the training that you've done. I usually recommend, if somebody wants to be a ghostwriter, start from what you think you want to make a year. So you want to make $100,000 a year. Okay, break that down by hours. Divide it by 2,000. How much is that an hour? That's how much you want to make that thing. What is that? $20 an hour, $30 an hour? I don't know what it is. I'm not good at math in my head, but when you think about it that way, then you want to fill that up with 50 ghostwriting jobs that you're getting for a nickel a word, or 100 ghostwriting jobs, or 1,000, or do you want to fill it up with 3 ghostwriting jobs that you're getting $1 a word for? So yes, it's hard to get those higher end things, especially when you're new, but don't sell yourself short, because if you sell yourself short, then you're the cheap end. And do you want to be on the cheap end? Do you want people to think you're the cheap ghostwriter? No, that's not really a good brand for you to have, because you're going to find
add a belly dancer in there and a model and a mermaid. I'm going to like, okay, how do we happen this mermaid thing and belly dancing at the same time? Just ask Richard, okay? Like, seriously.
It's true. Well, that's how I got into that community, is I started photographing dancers and just started networking with them. And before I knew it, I had 1,000 dancers, literally, inviting me to their shows. What's that?
I said, I tell my people now, you guys know where to find dancers. Just hit up Richard. My next question, how do you strike a balance between bringing your own writing style and the voice to a project while accurately capturing your client's voice as a ghostwriter?
This is a very important question. and it's tough. This is the toughest thing about being ghostwriting, really, other than getting new business. That's always a tough thing, is writing as someone else. And you're literally, when I take one of my clients, I am writing as if I am them. So I become them. How do I do that? And now remember, I'm a premium ghostwriter. I'm not low end, so my rates are pretty high. So we have the time in the project to do this. So we spend probably a month to 2 months just talking, and I'm learning about them. A month to 2 months, that's a couple, 4 hours a week maybe, just talking and talking and talking about them, their likes, their dislikes, everything about having conversations, learning what their book's about, learning what they want it to be. And that's for me to catch their voice. That's how long it takes to catch their voice and really get it there. Then when we write, let's say I start a chapter, we do it a chapter at a time. I'll spend the first couple of sessions just talking to them about the chapter. Then I'll write it up, do an outline, get them to approve it, do the outline, send it to them, get them to revise it. And then when we're done with that, that usually takes 1 month to do a chapter. I will, it'll be done, and it will be in their voice. And the first one, sometimes I get back, oh my God, this is horrible. And that's fine. That's part of the, okay, fine. What do we need to do to fix it? One of my clients said, I want you to swear more in the writing. I want you to put in curse words. Like, okay, that's a new one for me, but
In caps.
happy to do that. He wanted caps in some places for the swear words. When he wanted it to come across as a very tough book. And it was the first time I'd run into that. Usually they want me to soften it, and that's cool. That's his voice. That's what he wants. Sometimes they want it in the third person, as somebody else talking. Sometimes they want it first person. My very favorite ghostwriting project was an older lady. She was 78 years old. She had a bucket list item that she wanted to publish her dreams in a book and get it published. And she kept these dreams every night, every day when she woke up. She wrote down all her dreams, and she hired me. And I swear, man, when she first came in, it was like the Beverly Hillbillies, literally. And my first thought was, this isn't going to work, because how are these people going to have any money? Well, the Beverly Hillbillies had money, right? Need to think.
Don't judge the book by its cover.
I learned that. So I wound up doing her book and publishing it. It's a book. It's actually on Amazon now. It's called Gators in the Soup. She passed away 3 months after we finished the book.
Aww.
She got her dream, so is very good.
Wait, was her dream to write a book?
Her dream was to publish her dreams in a book form, in a novel, so that other people could have them. So now that book's out there, and it's her book. Even though I wrote it, it's from her point of view. It's her book. It's her dreams. It's her characters. It's her It's a kind of a wild young adult fantasy. It's these gators having this magical times in the swamp. It's quite fun. Came out really good. Took 16 months to write.
But you made her dream come true, and you're never too old to give someone a hope. And that touched my heart, because a lot of people, especially young people right now, they want, I mean, in Asian culture where I came from, it's like, after high school, you go to college, and then after that you go, and technically if I stayed in Asia, I would have been done in high school at 14 and come to college at 15. Mm-hmm. But I took 2 years off to go all over the world and travel all over the world before I came to America. I'm glad I did, because once I was in America, I couldn't go nowhere. My parents are here and there, and kids and family mm-hmm. and school. Mm-hmm. And so for her to have that dream before she actually passed away, it's amazing. And thank you for doing that for her. That's very touching, because that gives people hope that even to the end of your life, you still can fulfill your dream if you just push through. And through her voice, you did that.
It was her one bucket list item, and I did it for her. And I'm proud of that book. It's probably sold 50 copies. I mean, it doesn't matter. Wow. But it's her legacy. She's left it behind, and it's her book. Even though I wrote it, because she was writing through me, and her daughter did the editing. So she made sure that it was all cleaned up and had her mom's voice in it too. And she changed the ending 3 times. That happens.
Whatever.
Mine was a little bit too harsh for her. So.
Yeah. Always finding that balance. This is my next question too. I don't know why it's on a ticker, but my next question is, how do you strike a balance? No, hold on. Let me hide that one. And let's not put this on a sticker, so you can actually see the question. What cybersecurity measures should podcasters, because you said you have live, right? And
Yep.
content creators consider when collaborating with ghostwriters to ensure that the protection of their valuable content, which is IP, intellectual property, remains theirs?
Well,
Is there a tool that you use, or you just have a steps, or what are strategies that you use?
it's an interesting question. The first thing is make sure that you understand the security of the project you're using. Make sure you read the terms and conditions of the products you're using. Some of them will leak data, and the terms and conditions says they can. Like, they the tool may be used like ChatGTP. It uses potentially uses all the stuff you enter to make its model better. Well, that there's been points where that's been leaked to other people. So if you put in personal data in ChatGPT, other people could potentially find that out. So you want to be careful to understand what the security roles are of the products you're using. Is it secure? Is it not secure? Is OneDrive secure? Is Google Drive secure? Research it and find out. Um, there's court cases where people put stuff on Google Drive and the opposing side found it all out because it leaked. It's not super secure. Make sure you've got good security on your home computer or whatever you're using to write with. I have one client who writes with his cell phone. I don't know how he does that. Did you know?
Text. The text. Peachy.
No, he types.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you type on my. Okay.
My
Wow.
understanding is Twilight was written on a BlackBerry, the original version of Twilight. And I
Oh,
don't know
let's
how
not
she
talk
did.
about Twilight. I love
I don't,
Twilight. I feel like I'm definitely a Bella. Like I love. Well, I don't know. I love wolves too. Oh my god. You just brought me back. Okay. First of all, my husband, I made him travel 2 hours on a boat when he went to Seattle, 2 hours one way in treacherous, like rainy days, just so he could go to where it was filmed
Mhm.
um, in there. And he met an American Indian man. Actually, my husband's also a little bit of American Indian. And he basically talked to this guy and he's like, hey, you and your family are welcome here. And he's like, honey, it was really scary because it was so quiet. No one was there. And I could definitely hear wolves and the water.
Mhm.
And because of you, I had to go there. And then out of all of these things, he got me all my like Edward, sweatshirt and everything. I feel like a teenager, and my girls were like, Mom. And then they had this in Twilight, with the cutout. I wanted to take it home. And the theater's like, no, ma'am, you can't take it home. I'm like, please, you don't need it after this movie. And you're like, no. But I was obsessed. Like, I was literally obsessed with that. But I'm glad that you said that because, like Sia said, right? Intellectual property is a huge issue. Like, I'm having a problem right now with creating a video that I don't want people to just, even though there might be a paying customer, I don't want them to download it, repurpose it, and sell it somewhere else with my information in it. And there's places out there that will prevent that from happening, but it costs you arm and a leg. Do you have any suggestions in that?
You can do all kinds of things to prevent that. There's digital watermarking and stuff like that. But at the very worst, they can just put on a screen grabber and record it while it's replaying, and then they can do whatever they want. There's really no way to prevent it if somebody's really determined to do it. There's tools to take it right off a website. There's tools to take it off of YouTube. I mean, it doesn't matter if you secure it or not. You just got to make sure that you understand trademark law and copyright law and understand get it officially copyrighted. If you've got a trademark, understand how that works and get a trademark. Talk to a lawyer and have them tell you about it. I mean, it's going to cost you a couple hours to talk to a lawyer and get the scoop on it, but do it and talk to a professional. Don't talk to your friends. I mean, I am
Yeah.
not a copyright lawyer. I am not this kind of person, but I know stuff, but I don't know what a lawyer knows. So find a good copyright lawyer. Get insurance. Like I have insurance on my writing, so errors and omission insurance specifically for writing. So if things happen with my writing, I'm insured.
Wait, back up. What insurance company do you use for your writing?
It's called Bryberg. I could send you a link.
Yeah, put it on the private chat too, so I can probably comment it later. But what is that as far as cost, if you don't mind me asking? Like,
I
why would you get an insurance for that for
I
your
think it
writing?
cost me $30 a month or some trivial amount.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's a few $100s a year, and that protects you against copyright claims. Again, if you accidentally plagiarize, it protects you if you have a contract that has something wrong with it. Protects you if the client asks for his money back. Protects you from all these kind of things. Um,
Hmm.
it's pretty comprehensive. I've never had to use it, but also make sure your contracts are good. I'll look it up afterwards. Um,
Okay. Wow.
yeah,
We need that. Always that. That's a good one because I think a lot of people like, oh, I'm going to talk to my friends because they've done this, or I'm going to talk to my friends because they've done that. You got to talk to a specialist who actually specializes in what they do,
yep,
and not just a random people who know stuff, right? And you're right.
yep.
We need definitely. I'm actually looking at. I have created something. I need some app developer to do it for engagement in Teams and things like that. I haven't seen it out yet, but I do a lot of it manually, like I always everything. I
Hmm.
use it in Excel, but it did increase student engagement and faculty engagement that I would love to create for educators. But I'm glad that you have insurance for ghostwriting. I love that.
Yeah,
Here,
and now that's different than business insurance.
right, right.
I don't need business insurance because I work at home, so I don't. Nobody's going to come in here and slip and fall and stuff like that. What I needed was errors and omissions, and that's what I got.
Errors and emissions. Okay, it's more okay. That's a good one. Though my other question is, what advice would you give to aspiring ghostwriters who are interested in leveraging not just cybersecurity, but like their ideas and that they're really good at to enhance their writing?
Are you still there? You disappeared. You're gone. Oh,
I'm
you're
like,
back.
I'm gone. No,
Oh my God.
yeah,
What did I say? What did I say?
I know. How did you get that? How did you get that job actually to do ghostwriting and got paid really well?
Well, I picked a niche. So you pick a niche. I think that's how you pronounce it. Pick a vertical. So my main vertical, I do writing on everything, but my mainly help people who are, say, a coach or a C-level person or an entrepreneur who want to brand their business. So they want a book, which is an excellent way to brand your business that they can then get speaking engagements with, pass out to customers, that kind of thing. So my niche is the more technical side of that. So I'm explaining technology to leaders, to lay people, and stuff like that. But you could have a niche of recipe books. You could have a niche of cookbooks. You could have a niche of children's books. Pick a niche, and then market to that, because you can't market to everyone, and that will help you be more successful. And whatever you're good at. If you're good at gardening, well then that might be a bit narrow niche, but that might be something you could put out writing stuff in. Start writing articles on that. Start writing blog posts on that, and start letting it know you're a ghostwriter specializing in that. That gardening is probably too narrow, but it might be ecology or something, or it might be diversity and inclusion might be a big. There's a lot of books people are writing on that now, and DIE, whatever it's called. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
DEI,
DEI.
diversity, equity,
Yeah.
and inclusion. Yeah.
There's a lot of people doing a lot of writing on that. I typically don't, because I'm not an expert at it, and it's not my thing, and I can't market to everything. If somebody came and said, "Here's a big pile of money, write a book on this," I probably would, but
You're like, oh, let me research it.
I'll figure it out. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
have Google and I have ChatGPT and I have all these
Mhm.
other tools. And don't let one important fact is, don't let what you don't know stop you. You have Google, you have online encyclopedias, you have dictionaries, you have all these tools. So you're not the expert, you're the writer. The client is the
Mhm.
expert. The client
Right.
is, we call them in the computer, we call them subject matter expert. They're the person who knows things. So you interview the
Yeah.
client to get the data. So I write on everything. That's how I can write a book on AI. It's like I wrote my first book on AI. I didn't know a darn thing about it. And by the time I was done, I'm like, okay, I got this wired. And then I wrote another book on AI, and I was like, okay, I didn't have that wired. I know more now. And then another one, and then I actually wrote four, and now I'm pretty well versed in it. And then along comes Chat GPT and blows that all out of the water.
And you're like, okay, now let me go ahead and talk about this. Now, I wanted to. I mean, I'm so fascinated the fact that you wrote 60 books like in 2 years, right? Are they all self-published, or did you get a publisher?
All my books are self-published, and they're a little bit of everything. I even have puzzle books, coloring books. I did 4 coloring books that are belly dancer coloring books because I took all those pictures and made sketches of them, and they loved it. It was just for them. Yeah, they love that. So there's the 60 books. About probably 35 of those were actually written, and the rest were other kinds of books because I was experimenting. I also have written 48 ghostwritten books in 10 years. So when you think about that, that's over 100 books in 10 years. And the ghostwritten
Yeah.
books are substantial. They're not skinny books. These are 60 to 100,000 word books.
Wow. And
So
what kind of tools do you use? Just Word document? Just skip writing on Word document, or do you go to Google Drive, or how do you?
Microsoft Word is what I use. And
Okay.
I use OneDrive to collaborate, and Microsoft Word to write, and Excel, of course, to keep track of things. So I use the Microsoft suite. That I brought in Microsoft to Trader Joe's. We got rid of Apple a long time ago, back when Steve Jobs was not in the company. Apple went to hell, and that
Yep.
it got better when he came back. So I'm the one who brought Microsoft in, and I kind of know Microsoft, so I use Microsoft stuff. Google Docs is useful, but it's primitive compared to Word. Word has everything you could ever want. If you can't
So
afford Word, OpenOffice is an alternative.
yeah, open office it is. Now, I can't believe we're almost done. So I'm going to actually ask you this question. If today is your last day on this earth, what would be your message to your future families?
This was something I thought about when my wife passed away. Is we're only here for a short time, so what do I want when I'm on my deathbed? What do I want to not regret? Because everybody says, okay, in your deathbed, what would you regret? What do I not? I said, okay, I want to live. I'm not going to sit in a cave. I'm not going to be afraid of things. I'm not going to let fear hold me back. I'm not going to live in a box. So I've hiked every single national park in the American Southwest. I've gone to the Grand Canyon with a group of dancers, and we photographed them on the rim of the Grand Canyon. I've had lunch with the supermodel. I've had lunch with the top dancer in the world at the time. I've I could just keep going. I've been up in a hot air balloon, even though I'm afraid of heights. I'm a little claustrophobic, and now I'm a spelunker. Go down in caves. Just live life and go a little out. First of all, get rid of the box. But if you can't, go a little outside and do something you're not comfortable with. You're afraid of heights? Go up in a hot air balloon. I was a little bit afraid of spiders, so I went to the museum in LA, the Natural History Museum, and they have a place where you can put a tarantula on you and actually have it crawl on you. I was like, that was interesting, but
No, no.
and that spiders are always poisonous, so you want to be careful. But I'm
Yeah.
definitely have much less fear. I'm still afraid of heights. I'm still claustrophobic, and but at least I've confronted it, and I can say I overcame that a little to a certain extent. I was an introvert. I still am an introvert because introversion means I get energy from being alone. Extroversion means you get energy from being in a group. That's what it
Mhm.
means. But I now can extrovert. Now I can talk to people. I'm pretty smooth at it, and it's fun, and you're not dangerous, and
Not yet. Not that you know of. I don't
and
blow up.
my life is probably not in danger right now. um, yeah, and so those just actually, when I was younger, I probably would have been thought I was in danger for whatever reason, just for talking to you. I don't know why. That was irrational. Just live, get out of that box, and if you're stuck in a job, if you're stuck in doing something you don't like, whatever it is, it's a bad relationship, it's a bad marriage, it's a bad job, it's a bad whatever, fix it. Either talk to your partner or talk to your boss or talk to your whatever's driving you crazy and work through it, or change it. Change your job, find a new relationship, whatever. Because if you're in a bad job, that's a third of your life that's
Mhm.
bad. If you're in a bad relationship, that's probably another third of your life that's bad. So if you got both going on, you got problems because the other third you're sleeping. And
Yeah.
get out of your shell, live life. Don't be afraid to pivot. I pivoted hard when I went from tech to ghostwriting, and I was afraid I wasn't going to make as much money because I was making well over 6 figures at Trader Joe's. I'm making a lot more than I was making at Trader Joe's, and as a ghostwriter because I pivoted. Of course, it was hard at first. You know, it was very hard. It's like, oh my God, I need to make money now. You know, there's rent, but now
Yeah.
it's fine.
How long
So
did it
don't
take you to make money from tech to ghostwriting?
2 years. It was 2 years. But most of that time I wasn't a ghostwriter. I was just trying to find I sold on Amazon. I sold $25,000 worth of stuff on eBay. I was an affiliate marketer. I sold like $10,000 in affiliate marketing. I didn't like affiliate marketing at all. I tried other things, lots of other things, you know, Ubers and all kinds of stuff, and didn't like it, any of that stuff. And when I found into ghostwriting, I found my passion. Find your
Mhm.
passion. Like my passion is writing, my passion is helping people, and I get to make money at it. So those three things come together, and that's a win-win situation for everyone. And I can write. So whatever you're good at, and
Yeah.
turn it into your own business, you know? I mean, yeah, keep your main job if you have to, but turn it into a little business. And if you've got a if you like handicrafts, Etsy is a great place to sell stuff. If you got a bunch of stuff in the garage that you're not using, use eBay. If you like to drive, Uber, and start up those gigs or make your own business. Um,
Yeah.
you know, like you
They have
have.
they have fiber, they have, they have all of that. Yeah, I know. I would love to have my business be my full-time job for sure. It's because it's my passion to help other people through education.
Right.
Um, and I love, like, why do you have so much degrees and why do you, focus on education? Because I know that I'm good at it.
Which
Right?
reminds me of a story I'm going to talk to you with about somebody who pivoted hard, my sister. You're going to love this story. My sister is epileptic, and she grew up she was very discriminated against. She thought she would never have a husband because who's going to put up with that? She thought that she was never going to make it because who's going to put up with an epileptic? Who's going to hire an epileptic, right? So she
Right.
went through college. She's my little scientist sister. She's smarter than me, a lot smarter. And she ran into a guy, and they got married. Um, and they're very happy. They're still married, and they're very happy. She has 5 kids. The middle kid is autistic. She put him in school. They wanted to put him on drugs. She said no, hard no. She used some different words for than no,
Colorful worlds, I'm sure.
much
Yeah.
colorful ones.
Yeah.
She pulled them out, all 5 kids out of school. She homeschooled them. She liked it so much that she started her own school that she owns, and now she has 4,000 students, 22 teachers, and a principal, and all kinds of support staff in her own private school in California that she runs because she loves children. Her autistic kid owns his own company, is a graphics artist, been one of the best I've ever seen in my life, and he's still autistic, you can tell, but he's doing fine. The other kids all graduated from universities, some of them valedictorian, and success story. Like I said, she's smarter than me. But
Don't sell
took
yourself short, Richard.
she took her dream and she played her hand, and she did it right, and she didn't take no for an answer. She just did it, and she's very powerful, and a lot of pride there. But I thought it'd be a good story to end off on.
Ah, yeah, definitely. That's a good ending for sure. And I would love to know your sister. Like, give me some, ideas and things like that, because that is what I'm doing. Is I think that the future of, my girlfriend was telling me, what is the difference between you and lynda.com? Because lynda.com was a thing where, they were kind of like telling you what to do and things like that, random things specific. And I said, well, the difference between lynda.com and myself is that I think with them, there's just a bunch of people that they put in. For me, it's more of a smaller private boutique type of academy where only certain people, because my goal and my mission is not just to spread education, but very intentional education on the people who really needs it, that can't have access to regular universities. And
Mhm.
so that's my goal, my little niche. And so hopefully will that be. Is there any last minute thing that you would like for our listeners to know about you?
Well, I'm a ghostwriter. I sell ghostwriting services. I also do LinkedIn branding. So if you're having trouble on LinkedIn, and you don't know how to do this LinkedIn profile thing, come see me, and I can put that together for you. That's a service I offer. I also offer book and writing coaching. So if you're trying to write something and you want some help, I do that by the hour, and we can get together on Zoom or whatever, and I can help you finish your writing. So those are some things I do. I see you're scrolling my websites. That's good.
Yep, that is
Um,
the website where you can find Richard's information.
right. The Writing King is my main site. I'm currently redoing parts of it, but it's totally live. There's a second one called Fiction Masterclass, and I sell uh, courses online. Well, they're PDF files. They're little files, books that teach you how to write. So if you go there, you can learn how to write.
Awesome.
And the final tidbit I'd say is don't be afraid.
Yeah, I'd say don't be afraid and just jump into it. Don't think about it too much, because the more you think about it, the more it's not going to happen, because you're just stuck with like, what if it happened? What if I don't do well? Or, you start questioning yourself, and that's not what we want. This is the one, right? Fictionmasterclass.com.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Either of those two are fine. They both have contact forms, so if you want to talk to me, and I'm happy to talk to people. If you want to have like a 15-minute coffee chat online, just hit me up for it, and we can chat, and you can tell me whatever your story is. I love to do that. I love to talk. Funny for an introvert. I love to talk. And
Well, if you
love
had a
to
lunch
learn
with a
people.
supermodel, 100 parties for belly dancers. I mean, you cannot be introvert anymore. No, sir. You're not anymore.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I think I should lay the introvert claim to rest. And
Yeah, we graduated that. We're leveling up to now an extrovert belly dancing mermaid. I can
they
just
actually got
picture.
me on stage once and made me belly dance. That was funny.
Ooh, I want to see that video. We're gonna put
They didn't.
this.
They wouldn't make. I told them they couldn't make a video, so I think there's probably videos though. They probably did.
Yeah, it's gonna leak and you don't know it yet, but it's gonna come.
Yeah,
Oh
I had
my gosh.
one
Well,
on
thank
each
you.
side of me showing, doing the moves, and it was fun.
Wow. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, bye, everybody.